The Empire's heart, Mother World, thrived under the reign of countless kings until its resources dwindled. Then the army set off into space, conquering new planets. Traitors killed the king and queen, leading some of the conquered planets to contemplate a revolution. Senator Belisarius seized the opportunity and took power to find and crush the rebels. He sent punitive squads under the command of the android Admiral Atticus Noble. Meanwhile, on the distant planet of Velt, Farmer Gunnar arrives at the field where Korra is working. It's evening, and the villagers have gathered for dinner in honor of a hunter who managed to catch a snow moose. The girl finishes her work and joins the communal table. People around are merry, and the hunter glances at the girl, hoping she will reciprocate his feelings. Korra also likes Gunnar, but the beauty behaves neutrally. In the evening, she returns to the house she shares with an elderly farmer, who once found her among the wreckage of a spaceship and now considers her his daughter. The old man wants her to marry, have children, and become a full member of the community, but Korra feels she doesn't deserve such happiness because she is a child of war. The next day, Korra sees a huge spaceship in the sky above the village and rushes to warn the inhabitants. The villagers fear the Imperials, as one of them, Gunnar, has been selling surplus crops to the rebels. If the military finds out, it will spell trouble. But the village leader decides to meet the uninvited guests and see what they want. Admiral Atticus and his men land, demanding to buy grain to replenish their food supplies while hunting a group of rebels. The man tries to deceive the admiral, saying they have no extra grain, and Atticus kills him in front of the whole village. He then orders Gunnar to collect all the harvest for him. Within 9 weeks, Atticus leaves, leaving a dozen of his soldiers in the village. The sergeant starts by ordering the eviction of the occupants from the largest stone house. The soldiers begin unpacking their luggage. It turns out that one of the crates contains the last representative of the mechanical night race of the slain king. The robot Jimmy's private heiress greets him and asks for help with moving the cargo. Meanwhile, one of the soldiers notices a village girl, young Sam, but limits himself to a compliment, especially since there is a more interesting object, as Jimmy is a rarity. After the king's murder, the Iron Knights no longer fight to prove this. A soldier opens fire on the robot, showing how it silently accepts undeserved punishment. Eris defends the robot and almost becomes a victim himself, but the sergeant stops this and sends robot Jimmy to the river to wash off the dirt. There Sam finds him. She sympathizes with the robot and sits next to him. The king had a daughter, Princess Issa, who had a rare gift of healing and action. King's subjects hoped she would usher in a new era of mercy in the universe, but alas, the girl was killed along with her family during her coronation. That's when the Iron Knights refuse to fight. Sam assures him that it is he who still possesses compassion and gives him a wreath of flowers. Meanwhile, the villagers decide what to do next. Many blame Gunnar, and he in his defense reminds them that they are farmers. It's not in the soldiers' interest to kill them, as then no one will be able to feed them. After hearing this conversation, Korra rushes home and starts packing to leave. Her adoptive father tries to stop her, saying they can still fight, but the girl knows the Empire's ways too well. The soldiers grab Sam and drag her to the communal house, intending to have fun with the girl. Only young soldier Aris stands up for her, for which he is immediately punished by his comrades. Seeing this, Korra rushes into the house and asks the soldiers to stop, but seeing her, they decide that tonight they will have two beauties. Realizing that she can't resolve the issue peacefully, Korra engages in combat, killing all the soldiers except Eris, who sides with her. Sergeant manages to grab Sam and demands Korra to lay down her weapons. When Jimmy enters, the robot assesses the situation, picks up a weapon, and shoots the sergeant, freeing the girl. The arriving villagers understand that they now have only one option to fight against the Empire. The next day, Korra sets out to find General Titus, who has raised his forces against the king's killers. She hopes for his help and asks Gunnar to show her the man through whom he sold grain to the rebels. The farmer goes with her. During the night, they stop to rest, and Korra tells Gunnar that once Motherworld soldiers landed on her planet and killed its inhabitants, Belisarius himself commanded the executioners and for some reason spared 9-year-old Korra, taking her on his ship, where the girl grew up and became a warrior of Motherworld's best troops. The senator considered her his daughter and was proud of her military successes. Therefore, she knows exactly what awaits the inhabitants. The planet feels as if they do not resist. Soon the pair reaches a port city. They decide to rest in a bar, but one of the visitors notices Gunnar and offers to buy him from Korra. The woman refuses, which displeases the brute. He pulls out a knife but is forced to retreat after Korra explains her refusal to use force. After that, the woman asks those present for information about General Titus. Only one alien being responds, communicating with the outside world through a symbiosis with a captured human. The alien says that General Titus now earns his living fighting in the gladiatorial arena of Pollux. But the alien advises Korra to be cautious as Titus is being hunted and is therefore quite aggressive. At that moment, the man offended by Korra enters the bar accompanied by 2 accomplices. Now he is confident in his victory, and when Korra gives them a last chance to leave, he orders them to kill her. A shootout begins, during which Korra notices an outsider, a man who watches the fight with interest, and kills her enemy when she is in danger. Afterward, Kai offers his ship at her service as he too is heading to Pollux. Korra announces her goal to find soldiers to fight the Empire, but he is not deterred by this. Soon the ship takes off, but then Kai admits that they first need to stop at the small planet Frontier as he has business there. He finds out that Gunnar has never left the planet before and shows him the wonders of space. Piloting Admiral Atticus charges his body with the energy of Motherworld and learns that a rebel agent has been captured holding information about the resistance forces. Meanwhile, Kai's ship lands on the Frontier. The owner of the local ranch keeps a boy named Tarek chained whom Kai wanted to offer to Korra's team. The owner sets a condition for release. Tarek must tame a raging griffin in the pen. Looking at the creature, Tarek agrees. He orders the griffin to be released and begins to speak to it almost exactly like King Alexander the Great with his horse Bucephalus. Unexpectedly, the griffin listens to his words, allowing the man to jump on its back. The griffon takes flight several times. Tarek comes close to death but manages to hold on once the griffin throws him off, but he jumps back on its back, after which the proud creature calms down and carries the boy back to the ranch. Korra is thrilled with his skill and happy to have such an ally. The owner has to keep his word and release Tarek. The ship flies to the planet of cobalt mines Dagus, where the talented fencer Nemesis lives, but at that moment she learns that a child of one of the workers has been captured by a spider-like representative of the planet's nearly exterminated indigenous population. Her children were killed and now she is taking revenge on humans. Nemesis tries to persuade her to release the child, and when she realizes that this will not work, she engages in it. Battle Korra and her team watch the virtuoso fencer with admiration. A moment comes when the Spider-Woman releases the child. Gunnar rushes to the girl and takes her away. Despite the danger, Nemesis kills the creature but does not take pride in the victory, as humans are to blame for everything. She joins Korra's team and the ship sets course for the planet Pollux. Korra praises Gunnar for his deed and confesses that she was Princess Issa's bodyguard and saw how she revived birds, and now she feels guilty for the death of the special girl on whom so many hopes were pinned. Soon the ship lands on the planet Pollux and the team heads to the gladiatorial arena, where Korra recognizes the legendary General Titus as a drunken tramp. The men take him to a bathhouse where the general is cleaned and revived. He doesn't want to remember his past. Asked as he doomed his soldiers, Korra offers him a chance for revenge. This reminds the man of who he is. Meanwhile, the captured rebel agent is brought to. Admiral Atticus confesses that the resistance forces are based on the planet Charon under King Levitica. Atticus kills the man and orders a flight to Charon. At the same time, Kai's ship lands on Charon, where they are greeted by King Levitica himself. Korra thanked him for his hospitality and help. Soon rebel ships commanded by siblings Darian and Devra arrive. Devra is hostile, really realizing the weakness of her people against Admiral Atticus' ship, but learning about what happened on Velt. The rebels accept Korra's proposal. After this, Kai agrees to fight alongside her, but first he needs to deliver cargo to a trading post. Kai takes the group to the trading post and asks for help unloading the crates. The team unloads them, but suddenly the crates open and turn into devices for immobilizing people. All team members are trapped except the gunner. It turns out that Kai is a bounty hunter and initially intends to betray them for a reward. He is ecstatic about the catch as each of them is worth their weight in gold, but Korra herself outweighs all as the entire universe is searching for her. Atticus' ship docks at the base and the admiral hurries to the pier, seeing who Kai has prepared for him. He walks past the prisoners and stops near Gunnar, whom he did not expect to see. In the team, Kai hands a device, a syringe, to the farmer, which injects a sedative into the detainee's head and orders him to start with Korra. Gunnar approaches her with the syringe, apologizes to the girl, and swiftly removes her collar, plunges the syringe into Kai's head. Korra disarms the nearby soldier and opens fire as she engages in the shootout. Gunnar frees the others and they join the fight. Suddenly, Darien sees Admiral Atticus' flagship opening fire on the Resistance ships. Realizing his people are about to perish, the Resistance leader rushes to the pier and reaches the ship's cockpit. He jumps onto it and, breaking the glass, kills the pilot, but he dies from the pilot's shot. The ship loses control and falls into the abyss. While Atticus remains on a small platform, Korra runs to him and challenges him to a fight. They battle fiercely, but eventually Korra wins and throws the Admiral down. Facing a certain death time later, the surviving warriors return together to the planet Velt, while Atticus is picked up by Imperial medics and restored in the artificial womb of Motherworld. In this scene, it is revealed that Atticus is an android. He then appears before Emperor Belisarius and reports that he has found Korra. The ruler demands that the Admiral suppress the rebellion and bring his daughter to him so he can execute her himself. The film is very reminiscent of Star Wars, with many bright, fantastic locations populated by different creatures. Excellent costumes, makeup, and special effects. Just right for those who love action-packed science fiction.